Here we go! Okay, let's go!
And welcome everyone to episode 41 of the 1UP XP show. This week we're bringing you a few different things. We're bringing you Badlanders, which is a fun game until you get into the sweaty versions of it, but we'll get into that in a little bit. We also have a year recap with Coach Rob from Siena Heights University. He's the esports director there. Then we also have 10 questions with, if you recall, way back, we had an interview with Kaitlyn Roose, who is the head coach there at Michigan Tech. So we have 10 questions to earn a 1UP with her. So this is a jam-packed show once again. But let's jump in first to Badlanders. I was on the search for a game. I found it in Steam. It is free, and it has a very Escape from Tarkov / PUBG / Battle Royale vibe to it. So you drop into this map, or you spawn into this map, I should say. You have gear with you that you have in your stash, very like Tarkov. And then you go around looting, and then there's also people on the map that if you die, they can take your gear and it's gone, or you can insure it and hopefully you get it back if they don't take it, or you can get to an escape point, get out, and keep the gear. So yeah, this is a very interesting concept. It's like taking the Escape from Tarkov, but mixing it with a Battle Royale. And like I mentioned before, it is fun until you get to the sweaty levels, and my gosh, is it tough. But here's a look at some of the highlights that we had with this game. What's this? I don't even know where I am right now. It's nothing. Here we go. It's the same backpack, right? Ooh, level 4. Or 4 times. Oh, it's full. Bummer. Wait. What just happened there? That man's dead, chat. Jeez. My man had everything. Hey, we did it. I like how they draw the map out. So there you go. There's Badlanders, and it is free for your phone as well as on PC. It's on Steam. And it's not a terrible game. Like I said, I love the concept. I just wish the game was a little bit different, tweaked, more on the back end, more for region lock, but at the same time, just wish there was a little bit more population to it, because it's fun and all when you're doing bots, but when you go up against people who are in sweaty mode, man, that game can be unforgiving. But still, it's a decent game. It's a lot of fun, and it's free. You can't beat that. But coming up next, we sit down with Steven Robinson Jr., Coach Rob, who we've had on the show quite a bit, but we talked to him about his first year of being the esports director at Siena Heights University and how it went. Basically a recap. We'll have part 2 of that coming up right after the break.
Let's go.
And welcome back to the One Up XP show, everyone. If you are any fan of this show, you know who Coach Rob is, and you know the energy he brings. And I love Coach Rob to death. He's like a brother. And I will say, at the end of the year, I was kind of excited because I knew I'd be getting back together with Coach Rob, because I got to check to see how his first year of being esports director at Siena Heights went. The first half was a little bit sluggish. The second half, much better. It's kind of like the team flipped a switch. But as he'll tell you, they bought in. They bought into his craziness and his antics to make the season better. And he is a very, very evolved human being from when we first talked to him to now. When it comes to esports directing and coaching, he has made that kind of evolution into the next part of Coach Rob. So we sit down with him for part 2. The entire podcast you can find over on Spotify, SoundCloud. Also, you can find the entire video interview on our 910 News YouTube channel. But here's part 2, and we sit down and we talk about how he's not goal-oriented anymore, but more kind of the evolution after goals. There is more to goals. And then when you talk about just what he is doing as kind of the evolution of coach, he's found out there's a lot more hats than just coaching or directing. See what he had to say. So next question, what is the offseason goal then? Obviously, we know you're not, we know you're recruiting a little bit. We know you're taking the Zen moment. You're doing things at your own pace, but what is the offseason goal?
Yeah, man. So, again, the first time we chatted, I was all about goals and all about I got to hit this. I got to do this. It needs to look like this. Then I was like, you know what, man? And I will say a part of it was reading Atomic Habits. That was a big part of it too. The book Atomic Habits. But I have since switched. I'm not super goal oriented.
Okay.
And the reason why, and people are always like, what? Coach Rob, that sounds stupid. It doesn't. Because when I found out, once you hit that goal, there's a small time frame of satisfaction. And then you're like, now what?
Right.
So now you got to make another goal. Then when you hit that goal, okay, now what?
Right.
So as opposed to having systems. Yeah, letting the flow and having systems in place. Right. I'm all systems based now because I'll never hit that system. That system will never fail because I'm always approaching that system. Yeah. Right? So that 1%, it's always, it resets every day. So there's no, it's always going to be there. It's never going to stop. Right. So, so for me, the off season is more so just continuing to progress as who I am, continuing to be the best version of the director of Siena Heights that I can be. And that will never end. I will never be a finished product, just no human will ever be a finished human product, so that's always the thought process.
Yeah. We're always evolving and growing as human beings.
Yeah,
and that's what you're doing. What's on the radar for 2022 and 2023? Obviously we talked maybe a little bit of Apex in there, but we know we have some returning players. So what is in the system and on your radar for 2022, 2023?
Yeah, so I think the biggest part, and sorry, man, my neighbor's mowing their grass outside. But
it's that time of year, brother.
Yeah, man, I keep muting my mic. I'm I don't want that to be my audio feedback. But, on the radar for us, for Siena Heights, myself, and the program in general, is just building on what we did. So, the next step in that system is, like I said, the recruiting class that I have coming in is pretty big.
Pretty stout.
So It's pretty stout. It's a pretty big recruiting class. But on the same side of that coin, every single recruit that's coming in is similar to my mind, to how I think and operate.
Right.
So that next thing on the radar is getting them to understand why we do things the way we do things, why we have the system that we have. And that's again, like you mentioned, that's the buy-in piece. So that part of it, that's the biggest thing for me. That is by far the number one priority that I have for this year. And that can sound crazy to some people because for me, it's not about the wins. It's not about that. I don't care. I care, but I'm not super focused on what we place in NACE or how we do in the WAC tourney for our season. Those things will come as long as the system that we have in place is running thoroughly, right? Each and every day. Everybody is and I always think again, the Belichick way is just do your job.
Right.
So everything that is in our system, you just have to do your job. If you do your job, everything that all the goals that my players have that they might not mention to me or that they're talking about each other about, they will hit those,
right?
As long as you do your job and our system stays in place.
Number one is these are student athletes. These kids are there to get a degree, become better human beings, and evolve, essentially learn as the process going. So obviously, the wins, all that. Yeah, it's great as a student athlete, but that is not the main thing. They're there to do
100%.
it, do your job, but at the same time, your job is also to get a degree.
For sure. It's a bonus. Yeah, those are all bonuses.
All bonuses. Whatever it was, what were some of the key moments through the 21-22 year?
Yeah, a big one for me is understanding and kind of realizing that myself, what I'm doing now is a compilation of the last 3 professions I've been in.
Right.
So
what
I'm doing now is literally what I did as a special ed teacher, what I did as a police officer, and what I have done as a high school athletic coach.
You were a police officer?
I was.
I didn't know that.
Nobody knows. I don't tell people that. You're like, Coach Rob was fed, man. Yeah, it wasn't fed. but like those three things, like they each have a specific tool set to them, right? But there are things within that tool set that kind of mesh in together. Mm-hmm. So like, I was able to take a lot of things from those three and meld them together into this. So, and I always tell my wife, like, because there's sometimes when I come home late, I have like a look on my face of like, I'm just tired. I'm just tired. Right. So, she asks like, how was it? And it all more times than not, if I feel like, or I look like I'm tired, it's probably because I had like a counseling session.
Right.
Like, I'm not a social worker by any means, but this job requires that to an extent.
Oh yeah.
So like that was a big moment for me, was seeing that for the first time and understanding that, hey, like, I can't just be the director, and I have to be I got to be the dad too. Yeah. I have to be the dad.
There's a lot of hats that go with director.
A lot of hats that go with it, and especially like, not to get too far ahead, but especially for next year, like I had 20 kids this year.
Right.
I will have more than 20 kids next year.
Right.
So I have to be a dad for each one of them, and that dad has to be able to do different things or multiple things each day. And understand that each person and each player that I interact with, they will have a different set of needs. So like that part has always been intriguing, so that realization of it was super cool. And helped me understand that, okay, we're doing something right, because now these conversations aren't frustrating conversations. They're enlightening conversations, right? Because now when I walk away from these conversations with the player, I could see that they're walking better, or they're like feeling different, so that whatever it was that was on them, like it's not on them. Loose, maybe I'm carrying it, which is fine. I don't care if I'm carrying it, but they're not.
Right.
Yeah. So, and that gives them the best chance to improve. So that gives them their chance to hit that 1%. And if they're able to hit that 1% by default, right, at worst case scenario, I'll hit mine.
And don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with 10 questions to earn a 1-up. Now we move on to the awesome, always 10 rapid fire questions.
I don't know what's coming, so I'm scared.
Number 1, favorite platform/console?
PC.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Favorite game?
Here's the Storm.
Go-to snack while in a session?
I actually don't snack a lot.
I don't either.
I tend to forget to eat. That's not really good to say out loud, but I said it anyway. I have to set an alarm on my phone, which is something you should do. I love celery, like celery, carrots, and cucumbers with like ranch.
Veggies.
Yes, but I love mac and cheese, and it's not really a snack, but like anything can be a snack.
Yeah,
if
that's
you eat
true.
hard enough.
That's true.
Oh, mozzarella sticks are good too. Okay, you can't ask these questions. I'm just gonna start spitting out.
She's getting hungry now. Favorite TV show/movie?
Law and Order SVU was my favorite for a long time. NCIS was really good. So those are shows, obviously.
Right.
I mean, Miracle.
Oh, there you go.
That's
That's
one of my all-time favorite movies.
That is a good movie. Favorite guilty pleasure?
Does gaming count?
I mean, sure. Why not?
If it's not gaming, see, now I'm starting to think like what. I mean, I don't know. I like going to sporting events, but I wouldn't say that's a guilty pleasure. I'm embarrassed to say that I've watched like Temptation Island. That was like
there you go. That's a guilty pleasure.
Weird. Yeah, but it's embarrassing. True. All right. I will say it with pride. I have watched Temptation Island.
There you go.
There you go.
All right. Favorite pro team of a traditional sport? Detroit Red Wings.
Red Wings.
Yeah.
I mean, they're the only good Detroit team.
That's true. You're not wrong.
Brandon Inge was my favorite player.
Gee, I wonder why the ladies liked Brandon Inge.
He is a good player, one of the best third basemen.
Yeah, good player. Not that he didn't look good. Brandon Inge was a good third base, but yeah, he was a darn good-looking guy. I'm not gonna lie. First car.
Buick Rendezvous.
Now that you're the Huskies, cat or dog person.
I've actually never had a pet besides a goldfish that I won at the state fair, and it lived for like 12 years afterwards, and is now in my grandfather's Dennis fish tank.
What? That is the coolest thing ever. You've never had a cat and dog, but you've had a goldfish that's lived over 12 years.
Yes, that I won at the state fair. Yes.
Wow,
Yes.
that fish is like, that fish says, man, you saved my life. Thank you.
Yeah, and it is still alive in my grandfather's Dennis fish tank.
Would you rather be attacked by one horse-sized duck or 100 duck-sized horses? The concentration on your face right now is
One
great.
horse-sized duck, and here is why. Because I firmly believe in the mass of many. I think I could take down a big duck. I would probably tame it. Although typically my animal wrangling or whatever that stat is in D&D is very high normally. But I may be able to mind control it or something. Yeah.
You're going to go with one horse-sized duck.
Yes.
That's a big duck.
Yes.
Quack, quack.
And that's okay.
Quack,
And
quack,
it shall
quack,
be my
Mr.
duck.
Duckworth. It should be
He
my
shall-
duck. And
He shall be my bodyguard.
and his name will be
Duck.
Duck. Okay. Mr. Duck. Number 10, anywhere in the world. Where are you going, Kaitlyn?
Japan. I've been to Japan actually.
Love it.
It was amazing. I would, if I could move there, I would.
So
Yes.
with that, your trip to Japan, possibly in the future again, Kaitlyn, you are off the hot seat. Thank you so much for joining us. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much, everyone. Have a good night.
All right, that does it for this week's episode of the 1UP XP Show. Be good, stay safe, take care. I'll see you guys next week.
Let's go!